Instead of go and slay 3 monsters, thanks, it is instead serve these 3 bowls of soup to better get acquainted with the people and setting around you. Final Fantasy XVI's directors and writers are tired of having generic side quests populate most AAA game releases, and they are taking the challenge head on by making Final Fantasy XVI's side quests feel more rewarding that give purpose to the quests themselves. That's right, delivering 3 piping bowls of soup to NPCs in a settlement is not the cornerstone of this game's philosophy of creating more engaging quest content, but does shed insight into the meaning behind the quest and why it makes sense for the overall narrative. We will specifically be looking at a recent interview conducted by IGN where Final Fantasy XVI's creative director, Kazutoyo Maehiro, and game director, Hiroshi Takai, explain in detail how Final Fantasy XVI's side quests are meant to compel players by serving as a way to tell the player more about the game's world and characters. By populating a world full of side quests that not only benefit the player with rewards like experience, gil, and equipment, these quests are designed at their core to additionally provide heaping doses of lore by exploring the very nature of the quest task and the quest giver. Now, I want to know from you all, have you participated in the biggest side quest of them all by entering into my Final Fantasy XVI giveaway in which you could win a copy of the game? Use the link in the description or in the pinned comment for more details. There is perhaps no better way or place to introduce the side quest content like Cid's Hideaway. Early on in the story, the game's protagonist, Clive Rosefield, meets a character named Cid, who is instrumental to the storyline, and he introduces Clive to his own hideaway. This little retreat serves as a hub area for the player to engage with other settlers who populate this small space. Be it blacksmiths, vendors, townsfolk, and the like, there are plenty of reasons to frequent Cid's Hideaway, as this space will continue to grow depending on progression through both the main storyline and side quests completed. Of these people in Cid's Hideaway, many are bearers, who are a small number of people who can cast magic without the assistance of the power from the crystals. In the nearby Iron Kingdom, these bearers are treated as slaves and barely manage to get by with the little scraps they can get from non-bearers and higher-classed individuals. You can only imagine that a place like Cid's Hideaway is so refreshing for these bearers, as this is a safe haven where, bearer or not, people can coexist as equals. Among the first side activities to do in the hideaway is helping with the tavern, in which Clive hands out 3 hot bowls of soup to the bearers residing there. Well, on paper, this sounds just as generic and boring as other side quests in any other game, but creative director Maehiro explains that this is meant to educate the player about the very idea of Cid's Hideaway, a safe place for those wanting to escape the harsh reality of the world around them. Maehiro explains, for them, something as simple as hot soup is an incredible blessing. You can learn this by handing them their meals in this side quest. The same goes for Clive himself, as he was enslaved to work as a soldier for a long time. Seeing bearers engage freely in conversation is itself new for Clive. Through this quest, you can not only see how the bearers live in Cid's Hideaway, but also how foreign it all looks through Clive's eyes. This is something that I'd love to get your opinion on, as quests like these are not normally something I would do unless the rewards justified their completion. That being said, I do like how this side quest reveals a lot about the people within it. Their humanity is certainly felt, even though, admittedly, the facial expressions here don't quite convey that. And I appreciate that such a simple quest like this feels like it plays its part in making the hideaway give more context to the events taking place outside of it, and more importantly, gives a sense of hope to those residing inside. Director Hiroshi Takai sees side quests as an integral part of Final Fantasy XVI, in that its quests reward the player by revealing more about the characters and the world around them. He also reveals that Final Fantasy XVI has a lot of side quests, even when compared with other AAA games. Takai remarks, "I believe we have a lot of variety in our side quests. That being said, while there are a lot of them, we didn't want any of them to feel unnecessary. This is when creative director Maehiro chimes in and agrees with Takai, adding, "We don't want to have something like an NPC telling you, 'Go and slay 3 monsters. Thanks.' We have grown tired of such side quests, so we wanted a good reason for each side quest that was implemented. We wanted them to tell the player more about the game's world and characters. I'm confident that players won't be bored by them. While the developers are trying to keep the game balanced with plenty of side content while keeping the content engaging and congruent with Clive's motivations as the story unfolds around him, it has been confirmed that minigames like fishing, chocobo breeding, and the like are not going to be returning in Final Fantasy XVI. While we do know that chocobos are rideable here in Final Fantasy XVI, whether or not chocobo racing returns is yet to be seen. But seeing as the developers are trying to ground the side quest content around Clive and the harsh world around him, these simple and fun side offerings and minigames are not going to be present here. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments, but I think it would be nice to see these classic minigames manifest in some way, as they provide fun, brief moments to escape from the harsh realities of the events taking place around them. I obviously haven't played the game through to the end, so maybe this line of thinking that Square is going with may make sense with Final Fantasy XVI, but that's just what I am thinking about all this. Getting back on track, Cid's Hideaway is integral to not just the story, but also to side content, as this place can expand the more players partake in quests in the area. Maehiro explains this in detail with, when you first arrive in the Hideaway, to them, Clive is a stranger, but as you progress through the story, that will change as Clive might solve problems or help them out. Not just the main story, but also the side quests have an impact on how the Hideout's residents react to Clive. Some quests will only unlock after Clive becomes ingratiated with the residents. As the Hideaway expands, more services will become available for players to take advantage of, like an updating database of the 4,000 years of lore present in the game, a bounty board which tasks players with hunting down monsters for rewards, and much more. The side quests go far beyond just the confines of Cid's Hideaway, however, as these quests can be found all over the world of Valisthea. Be it Final Fantasy XVI's many towns, villages, and other establishments, as long as there are people, there are going to be issues, reports Maehiro. Here too, we designed the side quests so that our players can get to know these towns and villages better. By solving multiple problems in each area, you should be able to become more familiar with each town and its greater area. There are even some side quests that give you some background on how these towns came to exist. Takai and Maehiro believe that the strength of the game's setting and narrative are going to compel fans to try to seek out the side quests throughout the game. While we do know that there are some side quests about taking care of monster problems and for delivering items to NPCs, whether soup or not, it is unclear about the variety on offer here, as I think that is primarily going to be what sets this apart from other AAA games out there that offer a lot of side quests like Final Fantasy XVI claims to have on offer. While it is great to hear that the team at Square are confident in the quality and quantity of the side quests on offer in this game, I am curious to see just how well this part of the game will be received among fans. What do you think of the side content we've seen and heard so far in Final Fantasy XVI? Are you in these quests simply for the rewards, or are you in it for the story and world building? Will a lack of variety in the side content dissuade you from these rewards? I'd love to hear it all in the comments below, and definitely make sure to participate in the giveaway if you are skeptical of the game or haven't already entered. Make sure to watch this video here going over why Final Fantasy XVI ultimately benefits from not being an open world game, and make sure to stay tuned for more Final Fantasy content coming real soon in the future. Thank you all for the awesome support, and I'll see you real soon in the next one. Peace.